Hello and welcome to Tabletop Oddity. My name is Jay and today we're going to be doing the basic tabletop standard painting of Boba Fett for Star Wars Legion. Keep in mind this is a very basic standard. It's literally the base colours and pretty much a wash, and then that's about it. The main purpose of this video is just to show you what you can achieve with minimal amount of time, and if you use the colours that I use, this is how it will look. So it's mainly just for reference rather than a painting guide, if that makes sense. I'm sure Serasto will eventually come out with something incredible, and mine is something I literally did in about 40 minutes. So this is Boba Fett. I'll see if I can sort out the camera because I was just messing about with this and I was like, yeah, I can do a bit better than that. This is Boba Fett himself. Yeah, like it's not like amazing or anything, but it's more than fine. I say happy with it, yeah, I've got no qualms. My painting is pretty terrible, but it looks fine. Now I am using little X-wing pegs here that I wasn't worried about, just to hold and paint it with, but obviously otherwise you might want to hold on to or pin it through his feet or something. And well, no, you can't really pin it through his feet because he needs his peg. I don't know, maybe a paper clip up his jetpack or what have you, but yeah, I'm using GW paints, no proper skill involved, and yeah, let's have a look at how I did it. So I primed it grey with Halford's grey paint. The priming colour doesn't really matter, grey or black is probably suitable in this case. And then the grey cloth that he's got, just the material, I used Celestra grey. Put that everywhere where you think it's going to be grey. I didn't do his bags and his pockets and stuff like that at this point, but you should do because they're also going to go this colour. For some reason I thought they might be going a different colour and I was wrong. But yeah, you like two thin coats, of course, if you want a nice even coverage, to quote Duncan, our Lord and Saviour. And for the yellow, I am literally using Averland Sunset because that is the only yellow I currently own. But you know, it looks pretty decent. It's more than fine. We're going to do his shoulder pads and his knee pads are really the main part of the yellow. And then there is a bit of yellow on the side of his helmet, on where the antennae thing is, whatever it's called. I don't really know the name of it. You can try and put it there. And on the backpack, you can do either the flames yellow, which, to be fair, I did the flames yellow and then just put a bit of red on it and then washed it. But his actual backpack, there are certain parts of it which are yellow, which is sort of like the central cylindrical tube. And then the two things to the side, I did that yellow. There's no, I can't find a proper reference for that, so just go as you think will be best. It's completely up to you. For the red, I'm using Mephiston red. Nice bright red that goes on quite easily, like Averland Sunset is the yellow, it goes on quite easily. Obviously, at this point, you do his, the rim on his helmet, his waist belt thing across his midriff, and the I did the mechanical things on his sleeves, the thing that shoots out the guns and all the fancy stuff that he has. I did those red. I think FFG actually do some of those silver or grey at least, but I wanted red, so I went with red. If you're not happy with the exact colour I use in an exact location, feel free to obviously use something else. I'm not prescribing this, I'm just showing you what I did. So red in all those places. I watered it down and put red on the flame pack, as I said, the jetpack on his back. There's also a bit of red on his jetpack. I did the little nubby things at the top of the jetpack and sort of it's hard to describe, but the little middly bits. But again, any combination there is completely up to your choice. For the main colour green of his armour, I'm using Wag Flesh from GW, of course. It's actually a really nice, quite accurate colour of his green, I think. So I do highly recommend that green for anybody, really. I'd put that on his helmet, of course, and on his front armour. But I use a different shade of green for his cape, which I'll get onto when we get onto that. So you will notice that my painting is not very accurate. I don't really worry about it, I just tidy it up all at the end. So I actually do his jetpack right at the top bit in metallic, and the flaming bits well, the bit that produced the flame, as metallic, and his gun. And I was using lead belcher, but I actually go over them with Eshin Grey because I don't really like it, and it gives it nice. I actually water down the Eshin Grey, and it sort of gives it a nice like half metallic, half not look. But you know, feel free to do Eshin Grey and then dry brush it, or do it fully metallic and and then just do a wash. It's all fine. For his cloak, yes, this is the part where I use the Castellan green, just to keep it a slightly different shade than the green on his armor, because that's what it does in the films and stuff like that. So Castellan green, just again, when I say do a color, it's literally just 2 thin coats to try and have a nice smooth coverage if you can. For the backpack, there is a blue color. Now I actually use McCrag blue to do mine because it's one of the only blues that I had, but I didn't really like it, and I ended up using like Incubus blue or whatever it's called, Drukai, Incubus Drukai or something like that. I'll find it later. But to be fair, it wasn't really a massive change. It's, I think in real life, which is weird because it's Star Wars, it's actually like a lighter blue, but you know, I didn't want the colours to be too bright because I felt like Boba Fett's quite a bright character and it would look a little bit mental. But do the blue on these on the backpack. Fairly set. It's the main like body part of it, I guess, is the way you would describe that. For his feet, I paint in Eshin Grey. When I go over the guns again, he's got I think a bit of rope, which I believe has is it like a Wookiee's hair or something like that he has dangling off his right arm. Basically, I use Screaming Skull for the braided robe, and I use Mornfang Brown for the actual hairy bit. Now, if that's completely incorrect, then do let me know. And that's literally, I'm very near the end right now because that's all I'm going to do. And once I've tidied it up, I get a Thonian camo shade, which is basically a green wash, and put that all over the green bits, the armor, his helmet, and the cloak. Then I go with Nuln Oil for the grey bits of his cloth material armor bit. And then I literally just use Agrak's Earthshade and do everything else. Oh, sorry, I actually use Nuln Oil for the guns and the metallic-y bits as well. But I use the brown for everything else, which is like the yellow, the red, and all of his backpack. It doesn't really work that nicely on the yellow, so I have to go back over it later with the original yellow colour just to sort of like highlight it, but also essentially just to create like a smoother yellow because it looks a bit janky, to be fair. There is actually a yellow wash, which I can't remember the name off the top of my head. That is probably better for the yellows. I just don't have it. And it's Incubi Darkness is the colour I go over the jetpack with. I just don't really like the back side of it, the jetpack itself. It looks a little too, it's too many colours for me, but you know, I'm not using the right colour. It should probably be a light blue, which might look better. So smooth it up with your yellows or whatever colour you need to smooth over with. You can re-highlight with your original colour and then like a brighter version of that colour if you want to, but I'm not going to. This is Tabletop's quality standard. And yeah, that's what it is. So I will try and post some pictures. You can see his exhausty bit, not particularly amazing. The backpack, not very blue in this light at least. This Incubi Darkness. A lighter blue might look better, but I actually quite like having the muted colours personally. I believe these packs, like these I can't like guards on his wrist basically, not necessarily red, but I really like that as its sort of like colour scheme. It's a bit like garish, whatever the phrase is, but yeah, it looks fine. Very basic, tabletop standard. Didn't take, like, it literally took me about an hour, so including the washes and stuff like that, so not very hard to do. I will of course try and post pictures, and yeah, that's really about it. Pretty happy with it really, like it's tabletop standard, didn't take me very long. I mean, what more to say about it? I'm going to keep doing these. People are okay with this as a concept. I need to paint them for like battle reports that I'm hoping to do, and you know, I at least want basic tabletop standard for those battle reports. I'm never going, when I was doing this halfway through, I was like, I really hate this. So I'm like, get it painted as quick as possible, get it done as quick as possible, and you know, unless you're going to come up close and examine it and stuff like that, you're not really going to see the detail at like this range, like me looking to it rather than you on the camera. You'll probably see these imperfections in the tutorial and stuff like that, but not bothered, not bothered. If you like this video, do like. If you're not ready to subscribe, then please do. I'm hoping to try and get these done when stuff comes out quite quickly. I did Han. I'm not really doing stuff like the Scout Troopers because they're sort of just Stormtroopers, similar colours. There's nothing really you don't know how to do there. Not that you don't know how to do this, but you don't, maybe you're not interested in the colours because you already know what white and black would look like. So, but like characters and stuff like that, I will try and get them done as soon as possible. And yeah, if you're not already supporting me on Patreon, then please do consider that. It really does help, and really like gives me the impetus to keep going. I would keep going anyway, but I don't know. I don't know. It fills my soul with like a warm, cuddly feeling. Have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.